Hey everybody, thank you for joining me on my YouTube ASMR channel, Flannel Whiskers. Today I'm going to be applying some nail color strips by Color Street. They are Halloween themed. They look like the colors of candy corn. Aren't those fun? They're very easy to apply, and you can find YouTube channels where people apply them in like 5-minute videos. But because this is an ASMR channel, I'm going to go a little bit slower and be a little more delicate and just kind of talk quietly through the process. So what I'm doing right now is pushing my cuticles back with a rubber-tipped cuticle pusher. And what that does is it just moves your cuticles out of the way for the nail strip to reach down as far as possible and to be shaped well to your fingernail. These cuticle pushers are very inexpensive. I've been using this same one for almost a year, and I kept losing track of it. And finally, I wondered, okay, well, how much do they cost? Because this one was given to me by my Color Street stylist. And so I go online, and I found a listing of like 30 of them for like $5. I don't know why I waited so long to buy a multi-pack so that I wouldn't have to tear my house apart looking for my one. Okay, so I feel pretty good about the position of my cuticles. I found that if I tear that fast, it doesn't tear as well. So in this colorful packaging are the supplies that you need, and the instructions right here. So we have a nail prep pad, a nail file, kind of like an emery board. So there are 2 layers of 8 strips, so you get 16 total, because different people have different sizes and shapes of nails, so they want to give a good enough variety to work for most people. So because Color Street is real nail polish, they do have a scent to them that smells like nail polish. I love these colors. I'm so excited to wear these in October for Halloween. So normally what you would do is line these up with your fingers to find out which ones fit the size and shape of your fingernails. Because I use these a lot, I pretty much already know which ones go on which of my fingers. So you take the clear layer off, and then the sticky side comes off its backing, and I anchor it to the backing so that I don't get my finger oils on it. Oh, I forgot to prep my nails. finger oils. This helps remove some of the oils from your fingernails so that the nail strips will stick a little bit better. Okay, I need my glasses. So I always start with my pinky fingernail on each hand and work my way toward the thumb. And it sticks really easily. And the trickiest part for me is lining it up with my cuticle because both of my hands are shaking from my tremors. So it's a little bit tricky for me, but it's really easy for most people who don't have shaky hands. And I'm using the edge of my fingernail to essentially cut the part of the nail strip that doesn't go on my fingernail. And then I'm going to use my rubber tip cuticle pusher again to just really make it stick to my nail. I don't want to push too hard because I don't want to break my nail. But I do really want to make sure that the nail strip is really stuck on there and that there's no vulnerabilities. That's super cute. So again, the clear layer comes off. And then you peel off the sticky side, anchor it to the back side, and then apply it. And I try to push it down up to the very, very tip of the fingernail. And then I use my thumb to cut the nail strip. It tore. It's fairly sticky. It's actually sticking to my skin pretty well. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't look quite as candy corn because my fingernails aren't long enough for the white. And this size goes here. And I just know that from my experience of putting these on so frequently. They come off, it gets anchored, line it up, push it down. This one didn't line up as well for me. It's hanging over the cuticle. Part of that, I think, is either my eyesight, and part of that is my shaking. So I'm using both of the nails, my thumbnail and the fingernail, to cut the nail strip. And then it just separates. Take that off my finger. And how do I deal with the overage? You can see how the strip is over the cuticle on my skin. And I just use my nail. Push pretty hard where I know my cuticle is. And cut it with my nail. And then I can peel it off. Much better. Part of the reason why you do your thumbnails last is because you're using them as tools. Yes, and then this one goes on my next finger. Anchor it. I overshot it on the cuticle a little bit right there. Since I only overshot it a little bit, I'm going to see if I can coach the nail strip further onto the nail by pushing the cuticle back even more. And that's why I love the rubber tipped cuticle brusher, is because being rubber, it won't damage the nail strip by pushing on it. That pretty much took care of the excess that landed on top of my cuticle. I have a little bit of overage here again, so I'm just going to push my cuticles back a little bit more. So that the nail strip sticks to the nails and not my skin. I think I need to do that with this one as well. It's hanging off the nail. And part of the reason why you don't want it to just be on top of the cuticle is that it makes a vulnerable spot for water to get under the nail strip, and it might lose some of its stickiness or its adhesive if water gets under it. One thing I like about this particular set is that it is a little bit more stiff, maybe a little more thick than other sets. I don't know if that's because of the glittery component of it, because the glitters tend to be a little thicker than the non-glitters. But whatever the case, it makes it a lot easier to apply it. Okay, just the thumbs are remaining. Before I do the thumbs, I just want to look at all the other fingers and make sure that I don't want to try to trim any excess with my thumbnails. So sometimes this size works well for my thumbs, and other times it doesn't seem to cover it enough. I think it just actually depends on how well I'm applying them that day. I'm going to try to use this size. Like this one's a little bit harder to put on because I have to center it so perfectly. No, see, it doesn't reach all the way to the edge. It reached all the way to that edge. So I'm actually going to peel it off and try again. It doesn't always work to peel them off and try again, but because these ones are thick, this particular set is thick, then it let me do that. Let me see if I can just stretch it a little bit. Yeah, I was able to stretch it just enough. There's still a little bit of a seam right here. I can cover it up, I think, with the spiders that I'm going to put on top of it. on that side. And then I'm going to try to stretch it a little bit over to the other side. There's a seam right there. Yeah, I think I probably should have gone with the bigger size. But like I said, I'm going to put a decorative design on top of them, and I might be able to conceal the seam. I should just not try to use that size anymore. It's so close, but not quite big enough, even with stretching. So we started with 16 nail strips, and we have some leftovers. And these go in the freezer for potential use at another time. So I had this set from last year, and I've kept it in the freezer for the last year. And we're going to see how well it held up to be used after being open a year ago. So this set is so cute because it has spiders and spider webs. And when I used this set last year, I managed to only use one of the 8-piece strips for my entire manicure. Just by using each end of the strips, since my nails are short. So to cover these seams in my thumbs, I thought I would use this strip where the spider web is on the edge. So let's give that a try. So right here, I want it on that side. I think I might have to use this one for my thumb, since the spider web goes all the way across. And once I pull it off here, it's clear. So first I'm going to remove the cover. And then I'm going to separate it into 2 pieces. And it's going to be a little tricky to pull this off with no tab, but I think I can do it. So I'm going to put that on there. I think I stuck it to the wrong side of this. I totally did. There. Okay. So having the spider web on top, it doesn't make that seam stand out so much. Oh my gosh, I love that so much. And it's sticking really well considering it was opened a year ago and kept in the freezer. Sticking on my thumb. Okay. Next one. Now I'm going to pull this off. Now I'm going to pull off the tab. so that I get the rounded edge. And I'm going to stick that here. And I just have to fold over the excess so that my nail will cut it. But I'm not using my fingernail this time to fold it over so that I don't ruin my manicure. Is it weird to have spider webs and candy corn? I don't think so. I think it's cute. But I'm not going to do spider webs on every fingernail. Now so when I did the candy corn layer, I didn't use the skinniest strip because I knew that it wouldn't reach the edges of my cuticle. But when I'm using this clear overlay, it doesn't really matter as much to me if it reaches the edge of the cuticle. And I want to get as much out of this set as I can. So I'm going to use this on only one pinky. See what I mean? I think if you use some clear nail art on top of your colors, it doesn't need to go all the way to the cuticle the way the colors do. I'm not really happy with this application or this application. So those are the two that I'm going to put designs on this hand. We'll do a spider here and a web here. Maybe I should do a spider right there, coming out of there. Should it be on the string? I think this width is good for this finger. I'm not going to remove the protective cover because I don't know if I'm going to use both halves of it today. You have to be so careful not to stick to stuff you don't mean to stick to. Then we have to get the clear cover off. There. That was a little too wide for this fingernail. And I'm kind of not supposed to be using that thumbnail right now. So this one is pretty wide, and it doesn't need to be that wide for my fingers since it has a clear background, so I'm just going to trim it a little bit with scissors. My designs are not going to be symmetrical. The thumbs are, but not the rest. sharper so that the edge of the fingernail kind of can cut it. Alright, last duo. And I'm going to actually keep this kind of short so that I don't have to cut it with the edge of my nail. Also because my nail is not this wide. I think it'll go on this one. Right there. Nope, up a little bit more. Up. There. And then we'll do this one. I love that they're clear so that my cuts don't have to be super sculpted. Oh my goodness. I'm getting my finger oils all over this one. That's the downside of trying to be frugal with the strips. I think I'll put it on this one. Right there. Go. Stick. There. The last phase of the nail application is putting on the top coat. And the sound of this bottle is one of my favorite ASMR sounds. Given how much my hands shake, there's a lot of spilling and dropping that happens in my life. Hopefully the top coat makes the polish less likely to chip. And what I love about this brand, which is Sally Hansen, is that it dries instantly. It even says on the bottle, dries instantly. And it's true. This is already dry, the hand that I did a moment ago. That's it, you guys. I hope you enjoyed the Color Street nail strip application video.